I'm Maya, and I would like to greet you and thank you for tuning into N26 Design Talks. As we're going to be sharing some work and insights about work that we did in past years. The focus of our talks is around design collaboration that is fostered by team culture. So I will be presenting rituals that foster atmosphere that support design collaboration. With rituals, collaboration becomes faster and better. But also, everyday work becomes way more joyful, and it can trigger projects that go beyond the roadmap. Two of these projects are going to be presented by my dear co-workers, Em and Martina. And I will present the setup, atmosphere, the rituals that are needed for this project to arise. With Em, I worked together with him on the color update, as I was bringing in brand perspective and he was bringing product perspective. So we worked together on extending our color palette, and that's how we matured our design system. And with Martina, we worked a lot together on knowledge share, polishing the rituals, figuring out how ways of working, and she will be today presenting Toolbox that designers use for knowledge sharing. As this graphic shows, there are three clusters. These are clusters of projects. So the biggest clusters is the project that belongs to roadmap. They are there to achieve overall company OKRs. They are well planned and integrated to the roadmaps. We usually work in sprints to achieve them. Then we have a smaller cluster. It is future vision. Companies usually encourage teams to work on a future vision, to speculate near and distant future, and that's how companies innovate and stay relevant. But I also put a third cluster there. It is called self-initiated work. It's work that comes on the surface because designer starts off, they self-initiated. At the beginning, they also self-organize it. But of course, if you want to work on it, they have to end up on the roadmap. If you have leaders that give you time and space to explore, but even more important, that they give you trust and support. Before diving into our rituals, let me give you a brief information about N26 and design team. N26 is a startup that works in the field of financial services. Today, we offer our services to more than 5 million users in European countries, but from 2019 also in the United States. It all started in 2014 with the office in Berlin, but today we have offices in New York City, Barcelona, and Vienna. I joined N26 in 2018, and the most significant thing that I observed was hypergrowth. So during the hypergrowth, the design challenges became way more complex, and the design team had to grow and diversify its talent. So in 2 years, we increased the number of new members. Today we have designers in all our offices. Initially, we only had brand and product designers, but soon after, also user researchers joined. And today we also have design operations, who are supporting our design system and organizational aspects of the team. So you can imagine that going through hypergrowth, it influenced our everyday lives. So things that used to be spontaneous, they became extremely complex. Interaction that came naturally, they had to be scheduled and planned. So our design culture was put up to the test. And how we were challenged by this and achieved positive outcomes was by reinforcing our rituals. Because we always believed that our rituals build team culture, reinforce team collaboration, and introduce common values. So I will be presenting you some more or less global design rituals that we have been practicing throughout the years. Designers are integrated into product and marketing teams, so they have their own stand-ups at their convenience. But as a design community, we have a global stand-up. At that global stand-up, usually design collectives present what is on their plates for upcoming week. We do this in the format of a screenshot, taking a screenshot of the project that you're working. And this is also a really good time to ask for help. Next up is drum beats. Drum beats don't happen on a global design community level, but they happen in design collectives or depending on the design discipline. It is a time where designers showcase their work, what they're working on, and they can receive design critique. They can explain their struggles, and others will support them. Share and learn do not happen on a weekly basis. They are usually very lengthy dive-ins into process, learnings, knowledge share. Then sometimes get very geeky. And it is very important for us to share the knowledge because that's how we grow as a team. We have a few more rituals. One of our most beloved one is design retro. This format has changed in its format and its in name throughout the years often. But mainly what we do is mood scores, showcasing the work that we did. Newcomers have time to present themselves. We also share the work that we are being inspired by, talking about our weekend plans, but mainly it's about celebrating work and your coworkers as you're sipping your afternoon beer. GSDD stands for Get Stuff Done Days, and as the name tells, it is about working on something that is somehow related to a company. This ritual happens on a global level, so meaning that also product and tech teams usually work on it. It happens every 6 weeks and you can dedicate 2 days to it. So last but not the least is offsites. Offsites are 3-day powwows where we usually engage into team building activities, working on future boards, and sometimes we also get external speakers to come and give us inspiring talks. Usually designers from outside of Germany flew in, but sadly this year, due to pandemics, this couldn't happen. But it's a really nice time to spend time with your co-workers away from office and screens. So you can see that we have many different rituals that happen at different frequency, different levels, and they're serving different needs. Some of design collectives also establish their smaller rituals that are unique to them. So we have been practicing these rituals throughout the years, and of course we had some pitfalls. It can be due to different preferred ways of working. You can imagine having 60 designers and each of them have different desires. So it's really hard to align among everyone. Then it's also about just sustaining the culture and the momentum during the extreme growth. And then can be also very something like pragmatic, just like carving time out of our busy schedules. Time to meet and also to dedicate to engage into our time together. So we learned what is very important. It is to always check up with the team, how they're feeling, what is their mood, to revise your rituals, to reshape them, and also to be ready to let them go if they're not serving their purpose. But sometimes there can be also like smaller change. For example, it just change of the time when the ritual takes place. For example, if you're having a celebration, you usually want to do it at the end of the day. Then it can be also about room where the ritual is happening and how the chairs are set up. Nowadays, it's mainly about IT support, tools that you're using, and how fast is your internet. So yes, sometimes working on rituals can feel daunting, but we always knew that we're working for a collective good. During the rituals, the team collaboration becomes better and also other projects and surfaces. And as I said, one of the project is when we were working on a color system. So with we started collaborating to improve our colors. We added primary, expanded, and natural palette. And it was actually how we started working was due to the rituals. So at the global stand-up, we both noticed that we are facing the same problems. We couldn't find the colors that we needed, some colors were missing, some colors didn't work together well. And then during the brand drum beats, I was showcasing my works and other designers could comment and also give me support. And the best one was share and learn, when at the end we had the opportunity to showcase our process, our learnings and outcomes from the work to other designers. There's also different rituals in place connected to the design system, and also all hands, where we were showcasing our work to a larger product team. So yes, rituals help us to exercise our design culture. They work for different purposes. They can be there so that they help the designers, you can support others, inspire others, showcasing your work, updating your work, or just having a good time with your coworkers. So we found rituals very important because during the rituals, casual interaction happen that boosts teams' morale and gives a platform for the project that otherwise would never happen. And one of these projects will be presented now by Em. Thank you.
So hi everyone, my name is Emanuel and I'm happy to be here. And I'm going to talk about today about one project that Maja and I did together in the last 6 months at N26. This project is called New Extended Color Palette. We call it same, but extended and improved. So back in 2015, we actually redesigned our brand and we created a new brand and primary and secondary color assets. And as the time was passing by, our company evolved, but our brand colors or our color palette did not follow this path. So we didn't have enough extended color palette, and at some point our fellow design colleagues tried to find their own solutions. So they were adding their additional colors depending on their needs. So one thing actually that was a bit different is that brand team was more focused on does it feel like N26 and how can we promote our brand, and product team was more focused into is it usable, is it accessible, and those cases they had very different needs and those shades of colors were a bit different. So that's why those cyclically added colors were actually creating a big huge palette that is not consistent. And then during our design rituals, Maja and myself, we figured out, okay, we are tackling the same problem, so let's do something about it. Before we working on this problem, we work separately, and then each of us has their own files and we had our own assets, and then we decided, okay, let's have a sync, and yeah, we need to actually put everything that we have into one single file. And we done this, and this actually helped us to get deeper understanding of our landscape of what are we tackling. So we figured out that it's software and hardware. It's actually physical and digital brand materials. It's cards, it's website, it's web app, it's native apps like iOS and Android, it's CRM, it's internal tools and documentation. And we figured out, wow, that's a lot. And after we done this initiative, everybody in the company will actually get an update. We had to think about all those touch points, and we had to think about how to align them because again, brand was more like, does it feel like N26, and product was more, is it accessible and is it usable? But overall, we had to think that everybody is aligned within the brand. And to be able to do that, we needed to create our objectives, or we call it North Star, in case we got lost, that we have those objectives that will keep us to stay on the track. So our first objective was actually that the end result should not feel like rebrand. So we had to address problems by finding solutions and the look and feel of existing brands. So we should not create a new brand. The second North Star point was that this process of adaptation should actually be smooth. So existing colors that we currently have, they should be already in this palette, but we just need to make it a little bit bigger. And then last but not least, the last point is that we actually should create extended palette with clear use cases that will fit the current brand and consider our future vision. And we already started exploring, and we were trying out new colors, we were testing, but at the same time, we were constantly gathering additional information from our design peers and from other stakeholders so that we can figure out, okay, what we are working on, and we were trying to get the clear idea of what needs to be done. And in all this process, we were getting like, okay, we were getting deeper into color topic. We were getting into using various plugins, online tools, manual color picking. We were trying different or learning about different color theories, color spaces, platform guidelines, like a bunch of stuff. And we also, we of course were applying those colors to our user interface, to our brand materials. And then at some point we would find a very good color combination for product team, for product itself. It was accessible, and then we take those colors and then we put those colors into brand materials, and we figure out, yeah, it's still not like N26. So we would also find that it looks good in a brand material, but it doesn't look, or it's not accessible for product. So it was this game back and forth. It was real fun working mess. So we were very happy to be involved in this project. And all the times we had to have some kind of syncs with other teams, with other people. We worked asynchronously. So what we try to do is we try to use our design rituals as a drumbeat for a brand team, or for product design team was product review committee, that we were actually using to gather feedback from our design peers. We also had those critique sessions, one-on-one sessions that help us actually to have a more in-depth understanding of how other people perceive our work and our color values. So then we would take this feedback and we would put this feedback and create another iteration and another iteration. And then finally, we decided that we are ready, and we call this palette final. And we thought that, yeah, this is done. We are finally done. Our 2 or 3 months work is finally over. But then Maja saw that we still need to fix some things in some hues of our colors or shades. So yeah, we fixed a little bit stuff, and Maja was very satisfied about this change. But then we also, during this change, we figured out, okay, but we might need some additional colors for dark mode. And yeah, here it is. We had final version of our color palette, which consists of N26 extended palette and N26 dark mode extension. What now? What should we actually do now after we have this color palette? Well, now it was time to celebrate, to roll out this color into the company, and after all, into the world. We again used our different rituals where we made presentations for designers, for people who are more into color topic, for color nerds. So we had a design process going into details. We also had a presentation that was a little bit more fun and more engaging for all hands, that everybody in the company from product and design team are participating. And yeah, we try to share as much as we can so that everybody can understand this change. So the last step was actually to implement colors to various touch points. So we actually needed to go back and see our list that I showed at the beginning of this presentation. And then we needed to figure out, okay, did we implement this, or we didn't still. So what we did, we made tasks as for any project or for any implementation. And then we had someone who is driving this initiative. We had some details about status. So we will actually we were able to track this progress, and we had defined ready to implement blocked in progress done stages. Yeah, we are still not there. We are still not on 100%, but it's very close. It's around 90%. And as you can imagine, that scaling from 8 colors to 50 is very challenging. It's even more challenging to share our new guidelines with this whole company. So we created a different set of guidelines. We had guidelines for more tech or color savvy people or designers. We had guidelines for people who need colors in their daily work, but they are not so professional in this area. So yeah, everybody got those guidelines, do's and don'ts, so that everyone actually can easily follow them. Additionally, what we had to do for product design team is we had to make something what we call contextual colors. And this is a very interesting area, because if you have contextual color, this color consists of light mode value and dark mode values. So now every designer, when they pick which color they will choose, they will need to think about how does this work in dark mode and light mode. So we had to make those because contextual colors are actually providing much clearer definition of usage and those values that we created. So now through our design system, we have very well and consistent colors. But then if you want to add a new one, or if you want to experiment, you know what you need to be prepared on when adding a new color or contextual color. So yeah, finally we were done, and our new palette improved visuals, improved consistency, improved accessibility. So now through brand and product, we have same colors, and actually this is now actually the tool, and it provides a playground for exploration for product and brand design teams to create new beautiful designs. So yeah, this fruitful collaboration between brand and product was actually the key ingredient in this whole initiative. Even though it started only by 2 initiators, Maja and myself, we actually collaborated heavily with 60 designers. And yeah, the outcome, we are very satisfied with the outcome. Outcome is great. We have 50 colors that are ready to use across our touch points and across our products. So yeah, that was it from me. Thank you for listening, and I'm handing over to my dear colleague Martina to tell you more about her interesting project she worked on in the past few months.
Hello everyone, super excited to be able to present my part of this presentation. My name is Martina. I am a design lead here at N26. And I take care of one of 3 domains called platform. There's a lot of different themes within platform, of course. There is 5 different groups. There is payments, fincrime, banking, lending products, core, assistance, like a lot of different teams and a lot of projects. So, and we also have not much time, and we also have a lot of amazing people with a lot of different kinds of knowledge and tools and methods. So what we needed to do is to find a way, how can we create this knowledge exchange between each other, and how can we save that time during work hours? So what we did is we created this tool called Nec Toolbox. So it's not a metal box, of course. It has different kinds of canvases, techniques to help you in every day of the process. And this is what I'm going to show you today. And it's going to be 2 different examples and that I'm going to deep dive into so that you can take some of these home. This presentation is meant as an inspiration for you to potentially do this yourself at your company. So, who is it for? Well, it's for you, and it's for me, and it's for designers, product owners, researchers, engineers, anyone who really wants to learn more about processes and how to optimize different streams of delivering from start to finish. It can also be about ideation techniques. But I'm going to show you more about this. So you can find tools to use in different stages of your workflow, from discovery to delivery. And just so you know, like, what do I mean with discovery to delivery? I'm going to show you a process of how we work at N26. So first things first, of course, everything we do, every challenge that we get comes from somewhere. And that is the red part, discovering briefs. This could be an offsite, it could be online, whatnot. But what we do is work together on finding initiatives that solves these ones. And we create canvases for these. And so it is a perfect way to get your whole team together and really work in a collaborative way. Then we go into kickoffs, where we have the whole team gathered, and we look at what do we want to accomplish here. Same thing here, creating a canvas for this. Then we go into the broad research. And here we try to understand the needs the users have and how are we going in the right direction or not. Canvases for this. I'm going to show you all these kinds of previews, so hold on tight. Then we go into the concepting phase. And how do you make your team think outside the box? What methods are out there? And not getting stuck in just doing the same thing over and over. Then we go into testing the prototype and tech research, then measure, refine, and learn. Then we go into the scope definition, building, launching, measuring, and learning constantly. But the toolbox that I'm presenting to you today, it's mainly focused on the first part. So as we do in N26, call it a spike, and the second part more an agile way of delivering. So here's, of course, a list of some of the tools. You don't have to read through this list. I'm going to show you some of these previews. But as you know, this toolbox is not a red box. It lives somewhere. And for us at N26, it lives both in Figma, because everyone has access to it. You can copy, paste it, and just go. But it also lives on Confluence, which I'm going to show you a little bit later. Here's a preview of the Kickoff Canvas, where we look at target group, needs, product, and business benefits. And this is exactly how it looks like inside of Figma. So you can see the small post-its, you can write them, you can work in a collaborative way. I'm going to show you exactly how we did it with this one, with an example. Then we have the experiment canvas for research. And here we write down our hypothesis, the experiment, questions, and everyone has access to it in the same time. So you can see every mouse moving around, gathering and pasting their thoughts. And then we have something with concept ideation methods. So how can you associate to images, sketch ideas, associate to images again, but from another place? And also creating these together with your team just brings everyone closer together, because you're sharing your thoughts and how you think things should be done. Then we have the empathy map metrics. So in N26, we have a lot of personas, and here you can see, okay, Ella, would this idea that we have fit her or not? What would she say about it? What would she think about it? What does she do and what does she feel? And yeah, it's just a really nice way to expand your horizon of tools that you use. But I'm going to give you an example to make it a little bit more contextual. So have you ever felt that it's difficult to get every stakeholder and team members to be on board into one vision? We all have different thoughts. We usually have big teams, but how do you line everyone? And this is called the kickoff part, which I'm sure a lot of you do. So the Kickoff Canvas is the simplest thing that could possibly work to capture the vision and the product strategy and features. So what you need to do is you get your team together and everyone involved. I'm talking engineers, product owners, researchers, designers, legal, security. Think about every stakeholder and get them in the room or the virtual room. So then I would just head over to Figma. I will copy and paste, and then we will just get started. But I'll tell you a little bit how the canvas is structured. So first you have a little description, so target group, and what you need to do. Then you have examples, because you need to be able to make these canvases work, even if you've never seen it before. Yeah, so how it's then structured is that, so target group, describe the market or market segment. what the product is likely to benefit, who its users and its customers are. Think of demographics, the life situation users are in, or their attitudes and behaviors. So you read this out loud to your team, and then you can also show them examples. So what I want you to do right now is take 5 minutes, write down everything you think the target group is individually. And after this, we're going to present one by one. So here's an example. So one person wrote down 25 to 30-year-old, started to think about the future, more mature financial life, and then we make a grouping. It's like early life optimizers. And then everyone can hear each other's thoughts. Everyone agrees. It's like, yes, this is definitely the target group. Then the next section is going into the needs. So looking at what is our users' needs. Think about a problem, an obstacle they're trying to overcome. Same thing here. Everyone goes in, writes down individual notes, they grouped, and everyone shares what they're thinking. Third one, product. So 3 to 5 features that are critical for its success. This is the part where you can understand how big is the scope. Are we remaking everything? Are we starting from scratch? Is it small improvements? And yeah, it's just a way to let everyone be heard, and everyone can move the post-its and work together to solve the problem. Last thing, business benefit. So writing down, why are we doing this project? So if the founder comes or whoever would come and say, like, why are you working on this? You can answer this question. But of course, this canvas can be dynamic. So you can add on exactly what parts you want. So it could be, oh, I want to add on measure of success. I want to add on the stakeholders, timing, deadline, vision statement. So they can be clicked on and off. So think a little bit about that. Like, how can you make these work for different kinds of teams? But you don't have to do this in Figma or online. You can, of course, do it in person, where you can print the posters and then do the same thing, but as in present. So poster, post-it, Sharpies, timer. Yeah, but they live in Figma, but they also live on Confluence, because at N26, we document all our processes inside of Confluence. So here you can see what we just went through, the Kickoff Canvas. It says purpose, time, outcome, materials needed, step 1, 2, and 3. It's just an easy way to be like, okay, cool, that seems easy. Don't overcomplicate the canvases. Really make it clear for the user that they can see, okay, this is 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So second example is, have you ever felt that there are too many needs to define, and how do you know which one is right? So usually when you start projects or you want to tackle something, there's a lot of different people. A lot of people think like, this is the need, no, this is the need, or that is the need. But what we need to remember is, what does the user want, and how much research do we have around this? So here's an example of a prioritization canvas. And you can see here that there is something called important, less important, known, unknown. So what you do is that you take your needs and you prioritize them. So I believe this is more important. Oh, this one is less important. But then looking at how much do we know that this is important? How much is unknown? And the part where you want to focus on is the unknown, because you don't know this yet and you need to start researching it. Which leads us on to the next canvas, which is the experiment canvas for research. And what you do here is that, I'm going to go through it with you. So the first step is that you write down the need that you believe is the need. So an example, we believe that users do not have full understanding of where their money is spent. Could be one of the needs that we see. But the second part of this canvas is, we will know we're right when they're not able to account for particular groups of expenses in their answer. Then we definitely know that they don't know. So this is the great part with canvases. You can get your whole team involved, writing together about this. The third thing is that you write around questions. So is this position you would like to be at? How does the end of the month usually look like for you? And you write these parts together. After you've been out talking to users, you start finding patterns between quotes. And through the quotes and the patterns that you see, you start writing insights. And insights is like the grouping of those quotes or those users' patterns and behaviors that you see. Then you create the principle, which is the rule behind what we need to do to create that success. And then we look at confidence level, next steps. So I've shown you two different kinds of examples, a little bit about what could live inside of here. I really hope that this could spark some ideas about, oh, but this is how I do my processes. How would that look like as a canvas? And try to do like one canvas every third week or so and just share it. I promise you will definitely have a success. So why are we doing it? It's a collaboration tool. It's definitely a way of saving a lot of time. And it's a way of learning from each other. Yes, so this was my part about talking around the toolbox. And I'm really excited to see what you do with it.